Welcome everyone to my Bandai Tamarashi Nations S.H Figuarts review for DC's Black Adam, which is their latest release for the comic book superhero line. This is a movie I did enjoy. I've always been a fan of Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson ever since his WWF days, so it was great to see him finally land the role of Black Adam. I believe he's fought for it for over 10 to 15 years, so being that wrestler to the actor and then finally a superhero, or anti-hero shall I say. Now before I begin with the review itself, I want to say that this was meant to be the revival of the DCEU. Obviously they brought back Henry Cavill's Superman in a cameo role, and I wanted to see more of this universe, but unfortunately Warner Brothers are moving in a different direction now. So this might be one of the final releases for this universe. Maybe they'll give us some for the Flash movie, since that film is coming out very soon, but after that, that could be it. Now in terms of the packaging, it's always a nice presentation from Tamarashi Nations. They really try and match it with the theme of the character. So you can see the cutout is the symbol of Black Adam, the lightning effects with the yellow and black colours. We have a real photo of The Rock at the front, which is kind of what they do for the DC releases, and then the usual stickers and logos. And then on the side we have the title with a picture of the figure, and then on the other side it wraps all the way around and it says Black Adam. And then at the back we have the figure in different poses, and then at the top we have Black Adam, and then at the bottom we have some more detail. So inside we have a yellow background, and then the instruction manual to show you how to put on the accessory. And here is the Black Adam figure inside this packaging. Before we move on to the figure, this is the accessories included. We have one alternative head sculpt, 3 sets of interchangeable hands, the cross arms, the symbol chest pieces, and the lightning effects. So here is the Black Adam S.H Figuarts. Obviously out of the box the figure did not have the cloak on, but I decided to throw on this accessory from the beginning, as that's how they kind of introduced him into the film. And this has now become an iconic look of the live action Black Adam. So in the promo photos, when I saw that they were going to include this accessory, it's always a nice bonus for extra display ideas. The only thing is, when I took it out of the box and placed it on, I felt the whole cloak is slightly oversized, especially the hood part. I feel that it's a bit too big. It could have been slightly shrunken down to fit him better. I know in the movie it's meant to cover his face and over the eyes. In some angles you can kind of get it right, but I feel that for the hood they could have done it slightly better. So when he's looking straight on, I feel the top part is too high, so you have to try and pull it down. And even the middle part you have to tuck it under his chin to get it right, otherwise it seems very loose. But in terms of the design and the pattern and even the materials, I'm actually quite pleased with it. Tamarashi Nations obviously experienced in making plenty of capes and cloaks, so it's not like a cheap or thin kind of material. This is actually pretty tough, and it's quite thick considering they're using 2 layers. And I feel that there is a band inside for the front part and the inside to create that articulation, so the wind effects. So it's actually a nice accessory to have, but I just feel that it could have been slightly shrunken down, especially the hood part. If we remove the cloak, so it's pretty easy, so you just throw it over and then take it out like that. So this is the look we've been waiting for. The promo photos showed some amazing likeness to The Rock, and I must admit, in person I have no complaints in terms of the likeness. This is almost spot on. It might be one of the best S.H Figuarts live action likenesses. I can't believe how accurate this face sculpt is. I know that Tamarashi Nations have had experience in making the Rock figure, because I do have the WWE Superstars version. I know that McFarlane Toys also did a decent one, and also I think Mattel over the years have done some decent likenesses of The Rock. So I guess it's not too difficult, but they still had to translate it into this figure, and I think they've done it perfectly. In terms of the proportions, obviously The Rock is a bodybuilder. He's going to be quite muscular and buffed up. I know Tamarashi Nations, their figures have always been slightly thinner or smaller than other companies, but I feel that this one they've got right. The height and then the body, just everything about it, I think it's spot on to the Black Adam look. So in terms of the design of the costume, it's very subtle. We know that from the accessories we can change the chest pieces, but everything else is kind of a dark black or grey colour, which is okay because it kind of suits this anti-hero look. So first impressions, I do like the look of this figure. So apart from the cloak being slightly oversized, I think this is a good start. So we're going to move on to the articulation and then we'll do the accessories. So now let's take a look at the articulation. So starting off with the head sculpt. So obviously no problem moving side to side. It can rotate all the way around if you want. And then it has a rotation on the head and then downwards and then upwards quite a lot as well. And then the arms, pretty smooth out of the box, side to side. And then it can go forwards, backwards. So you can kind of see the built mechanics here. There's rotation on the arms, rotation for the biceps, and then for the arm bends, it bends this much. So you can see the muscles of the rock. And then there's rotation on the hands as usual, and there's a slight hinge as well. So no problems there. And then for the chest, I can tilt round and round, and then side to side, and then forwards and backwards. So pretty standard in terms of articulation. Waist swivel, no problem, and then side to side as well. And then the crunch, not too much I guess. I don't think Black Adam really needs that much articulation. So yeah, I think it's fine. And then for the legs, he kicks forwards, backwards. Be very careful because this part does kind of get in the way. But I'm sure there's rotation, no problem. And then the leg bend. And then let's take a look at the boots. Rotation, no problem. Side to side, slightly. And then I'm pretty sure there's a toe hinge. So very standard in terms of articulation. I guess Black Adam doesn't need to be in any dynamic poses. Just some is fine, so I'm actually quite pleased with it. So let's now move on to some of the accessories. So now let's take a look at the accessories. I'm going to start off with the alternative hands. So out of the box, it is the closed fist. So we have 3 sets of extra ones. So the first one is the relaxed palms. And then we also have some slightly grapple hands. And then the third one, I assume, is for the lightning attacks. The next accessory is to put on the cross arms for Black Adam, which is a pretty iconic look for him. This is the first time I've seen this accessory for any comic book superhero S.H. Figuarts, but I believe Machinations have done it for characters like their Dragon Ball line. So I assume you just have to take off the 2 arms and then place this in, which I'm going to do now. So here is the cross arm accessory placed onto the figure. What you do is pull off the 2 bottom halves of the arms, and then you place the pegs in on both sides, and it gives this really cool look of Black Adam. This is very unique for any comic book superhero S.H. Figuarts. As I said, they've done it for the Dragon Ball line, but this is the first time for any DC or Marvel figure. So this is an extra idea for a display, which I think is a great bonus. The next accessory is to replace the chest emblem. So obviously the dirt version is for the opening scene with the cloak. So the body is built over 2 sides, so what you do is you have to remove the top piece as well as the bottom. So here is the chest emblem pieces placed on. So we now have the clear yellow lightning sign, and this is obviously the classic look of Black Adam. And I really like this touch that Machinations have done, because they could have gone for the easy route and just given us this version, but obviously they did a lot more effort with the cloak and they gave us the other option as well. So before we take a look at the alternative head sculpt, this is one final accessory for the chest emblem, and this obviously has the lightning effects. So what you do is you only replace the top half, which I'm going to do now. And here is the in battle look of Black Adam with the lightning chest. So obviously we only had to replace the top half for this one, and I think it looks great. So the final accessory is obviously to change up the head sculpt for the light up eyes. And then we get his ultimate look, which I think is almost perfect as a display. So obviously I'm going to have to get it in the right pose and maybe use a stand. This head sculpt is just as good as the original, but this time of course with those lightning eyes. So this is probably the ultimate look of the S.H. Figuarts Black Adam, and overall I'm very pleased with it. So here is some size comparisons next to the Justice League Superman with the S.H. Figuarts on the left as well as the Mafex version on the right. Next to some McFarlane Toys Justice League, Superman and Batman. Next to a Hasbro Marvel Legends Renew Your Vows Spider-Man, as well as the S.H. Figuarts WWE The Rock. And finally, some Rock figures from Jakks Pacific on the left, as well as a Mattel version on the right. So now for my final thoughts on the Black Adam S.H. Figuarts. After seeing the promo photos, this figure looked excellent, and I feel in person it certainly translated into that, and we know that's not always the case. In terms of the likeness, this is one of the best in my SHF collection. I know Nations don't do that many DC figures, but every time they do, I think the likeness is spot on. The head sculpt looks great, and I think there's so many accessories for different poses. So we have the light up eyes, the lightning effects, the alternative hands, the cross arms, the cloak. So there's so many ideas for different displays. And since Warner Brothers are moving in a different direction, this might be one of the final figures for this universe. So if you enjoyed Black Adam, this might be your only chance of picking up an excellent figure. Hopefully they'll announce something for the Flash movie, but in terms of this film, it might be the final one. But if they do give us any more, hopefully we'll see a Dr. Fate. So my overall score is going to be a 9 out of 10. There's always room for improvement, and hopefully we'll see more figures for the DCEU. Please like, comment and subscribe, and stay tuned for more. Thanks for watching, and hope to see you next time.